All right, welcome everyone. We are here at Kings in Rosvedov and a very special guest, Tony G. How's it going?
Really good. After winning, obviously I had a very big party last night in the spa, but got through that alive as well, so looking forward to going.
You look fresh, man. You don't even look like we saw the bottle, you popping champagne, winning a short deck event. How's that? I mean, winning's always fun, but in a game that short deck, how much experience do you have in that? It's a newer kind of game. Like, don't tell me that's your first time ever playing. Like, is it one of the early times?
Yeah, I've played very few hands in total. Yeah, I've played one tournament before. I was actually deep in Montenegro in the short deck. Very deep and busted quite late, just before the money, 2 or 3 out of the money in that one. And yeah, look, it's an easy game for me. As long as people fold, I have a shot.
Right.
Anything that you can get people to fold.
Any bluffing involved, yeah, I love it. So, all right, well, you win that event. How much? It was a 25K Triton series. You were over in London. I saw you there. You participated in the million. You've played a bunch of tournaments over your career. Do you prefer cash games or tournaments?
Cash games have been very successful for me over the last 3 years, I think, especially here at King's Casino.
Okay.
We've had really good games, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so even someone like me can win. And the way poker's going, it's more social nowadays. So pros, you know, the super pros are restricted from these games, and they're kept private. And I don't know if that's good or bad. It's good for me, though.
Right. And
I guess I can't get into many games too, like JB's game. I'm not invited
really?
into it.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Oh man.
So it's crazy.
Well,
you know,
that means you're tough. That people think you're
I
tough.
don't think so, but
Yeah. And so give us a little background on you. You're one of the more, Tony G is known in poker. I mean, I remember growing up, and you were one of the original characters in poker. You have some antics on your bike, these kind of coined phrases that are, I think these days are sort of missing. There's so many serious super pro that sit there and they tank and all this, and you're very animated. What is poker to you about being fun and you know, sometimes when you get a little bit fired up, you and Helmuth have some very legendary clashes. Like,
exactly.
Tell me a little bit about why you get animated and what it means poker, how it's been for you.
You know, my philosophy, attitude has been that poker should be social. People who really work purely on poker and don't do anything else in life, I think, are missing out on a lot. And poker players who are really good could probably do a lot more in life and for the whole world than just to play poker in higher stakes. So
Right.
I never believed that people should really work really that hard just to play poker. Poker is a great part of life. I really enjoy it with a passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a social thing. Obviously, if you get into really good cash games, it can be profitable for you.
Right.
But it's if you take it too serious, and it becomes like these guys are tanking a certain number of seconds all the time, and they're working on it so hard. So it's just different. Look, I wish them all the best, and I don't support those sort of players.
Right.
With Phil Helmuth, we just have fun. He's he's an old-fashioned player like me.
Right.
And I don't know if it's old-fashioned, good or bad. It doesn't even matter what people think. But I think.
Yeah, man. I think that people are missing. That's like that. That to me, the characters of the game. The Berto Brennis is the animated, the having fun. That's what people want to tune in and see. They want to see people having fun and living sort of as a character and having a good time. And I mean, especially when it's genuine. That's who you are. You're showing who you are. Now they kind of they throttle it, right? It's like you can't talk as much at the table. You can't do this stuff. People, it seems like it's poker. I think needs more of that. So it's good to see that's sort of what you've embodied. And those of you that don't know Tony G, the background a little bit. You started Poker News. Tell us a little about this, because this is like synonymous. This is the biggest site on poker. And this is what people use, the standard. This is the news. And tell me about that. How you started that and what that's all about.
So I bought the domain. I was just sitting pokernews.com with some Hong Kong guy for $8,000. That's what I started with. I never had much money. I didn't have
What
a
year
rich
was that?
family. It was like 99, 2000. I bought it, and I slowly started building it up. I was actually beating the games there quite easily in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been a gambler since a kid, growing up in Australia since 12 years old. I guess I was addicted to gambling in some form.
Right.
So it was natural for me to play poker in the early 2000s. Make a bit of money, start winning some tournaments, and I put all the money into Poker News, into development of Poker News, into the search engine optimization, building a great team. We also did lots of languages. So I came up with a franchise model, so people would have 50% of their revenue from each country.
Oh wow!
So we were able to grow very fast without any funding. I didn't have any funding outside. It was all just from my poker winnings that I put in and build that into a business that was generating $2 million a month in revenue.
Wow!
At its peak. So it's and traffic now is phenomenal. It's all the technology It is built in Lithuania. The team is still there. I was always good friends with Isai, and we did do a deal slowly where I started selling some of the equity at the right time as well for poker. But now it's also with Odds Checker. It's in a big group now. I'm just happy that it's still in Lithuania. They still rent the property from me where the office is. So I still feel involved, and Leon just asked me to do a deal on poker news. So people still come in, and I still try to do deals.
Yeah, well, it's a happy 100th, isn't that right? Is it the 100th year of the country in Lithuania? Is that right?
We did have the 100th. Yeah. We moved past it. Yeah,
all right, past the 100. I know that was a thing. I saw that somewhere. That's cool. And those that also may not know, you've been involved in politics to a pretty serious level. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey in politics and where that is currently, and how that's been for you? Because that's not really a typical mix, poker and politics.
Yeah, so I guess that was fun trying, and I put my name up for European elections. I was a member of European Parliament for 5 years. Thank God, with no controversy, nothing happened bad, which is already good. And I think I did a lot of good change for young people in Lithuania with things I've been successful in. So it's internet coding. I was Coder Dojo ambassador, teaching kids how to code from an early age, especially also working on girls, because I do have a lot of these people that do work in my companies in coding nowadays. So that was important for me to do, to work on technology in Europe, to make Europe more tech savvy, more open. We were creating a digital single market, DSM, which I worked on, cybersecurity and things like that. So it was a very good experience. It was tough. Very little you could do politically. The European Parliament is the second largest parliament in the world after India, with 755 members. So
really?
Yeah,
wow. So how what was the process? Did you get resistance for being in poker? Was that like a thing where people were like, oh, you shouldn't be here at all, or was that just kind of whatever?
That helped me, because I was more than just a politician, right? So I was just a person from the community that was playing poker as well, that was elected by the people in a very sort of a strong way. So I think it's changing, and probably in the future I would have opportunities to play poker again, but currently to be in politics again. Right. And I'm always playing poker, right?
And I see, so 2002, this is your looking through Hen and Mobs. I like to do this on podcasts, kind of going through the journey. Was this, you were playing cash games already at this point, or was this so I see you have a couple scores, WSOE, wow, in 2002, is that a World Series of Poker?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a couple scores, you were kind of into it here, like was this like a hobby at this point, or were you kind of playing poker for money?
I was playing poker for money, yeah. Basically, I was living in Austria, quite broke in like 2002. And then started winning in poker, and then put that money into poker news. But basically, I was living in a small flat in Austria, broke, not much left in life to do. Already not that young in 2002. So had to win, and luckily I did have a few wins. And in Austria, the games were very soft. Even someone like me could win, and those people did support me and allow me to play. And I won a few tournaments. Even that WSOP event that I got second was a big result, 44,000 euros. I guess changed my life then in 2002. So it's all relative now, isn't it? So poker did help me, and thank God that I put that money into poker news, which I also love to do. And we bought later on. We bought the World Series live reporting rights. We paid for it to outbid Card Player, which other people could understand. I just paid whatever it took. And that really propelled us to a whole new level. And
so originally you were born in Lithuania, you moved to Australia. I saw you were Rubik's Cube champion. Is that true? And
it's a kid thing. I'm not.
Yeah, but you were okay. So you were at games. You like games when you were a kid.
I like games. Yeah.
You moved to Melbourne, Australia, and what was that like for you? So that was there poker going on at that time? Was the Crown there and stuff like that, or is that?
No, Crown opened when I was 18, exactly. So Crown Casino opened, and then poker started. We used to play like 5-card stud poker, 7-card stud, and then like Hold'em and other games also started to come in, and I played, and I could probably beat most people there when it first started. So it was easy, but there wasn't enough action, and I had to go to Europe, where there was a really heavy heavy action, and you could really make some serious money.
My dad always does report, like sends me a background on everyone. So and I saw something where you flew to Vegas, kind of lost your role. Is that true? Or maybe he quoted that from somewhere. You flew into Vegas, you were playing some of those games, then had to go back to Melbourne almost with, I mean, as the story read, that you had lost a lot of your money or whatever at that time. Is that true?
Yeah.
Like, did you kind of go, quote unquote, broke, or was that a big lesson for you to go to Vegas, then have to come back after? Is that true even?
It's true. I've had lots of bad trips to Vegas, unfortunately. Even the last one wasn't that good financially. So yeah, I've been on the verge of being broke for sure. Going back 15 years. In the last 15 years has been okay.
Right.
We'll see how the next 15 years.
Well, listen,
I'm going to live them.
You keep playing short deck, man. You're winning short deck high rollers. Tell me about coin poker, because this is something I want to flash over here. And again, guys, if you have questions, get the retweets out for Tony. We're going to give away a ticket at the end of the day. I've seen a lot of. We want to save some time to do that at the end here, but this is very interesting because I've seen some patches. I've seen you rocking this in the £1 million tournament, and this is obviously blockchain. You mentioned with what you're kind of doing in general, and it's a very hot topic. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, poker. People in poker use it. What is this site, and how is this working?
So it's actually a decentralized poker powered by cryptocurrency. Okay. RNG is actually on a blockchain, so people can see the random number generator is fair. You can verify it. You can trust but verify. That's the saying I have. Trust but verify. So it's very very interesting project. I really love it because there's no fiat involved. It's only games of skill. You can deposit with BTC or Ethereum, and also CHP, which is its own native token. Tokens are being also burnt every week from the rake. So I think it's a very interesting project. It's a bit of fun. I love poker. We'll see where it goes, but I think it's going to start growing quite significantly. Coin poker. So I do suggest for everyone to come on. There's free rolls there. You don't even have to deposit. You can just try it out. Play the free rolls, build up, and there's been a lot of kids that have built a bankroll from nothing. Right,
that's awesome. And so are you in terms of cryptocurrency in general, are you pretty bullish? Like, do you believe that this is a future? Do you think this is going to replace fiat? Like, I want to know. Tony G's a businessman. We got most poker on here. Talk to us a little bit about business and where you think the future is. Like, do you believe this is moving that way?
Yeah, look, I don't know where it's going to go, but I tell you, I can share. I've launched cryptonews.com. So cryptonews.com is launched.
You own that domain?
I own that
Tony,
business.
Come on, man. How do you get these domain names? Poker News, Crypto News? That's a strong that is a strong name. I'm gonna look here. Let me fast forward over to so coin poker. That's all very interesting. I know there's a few sites doing that with crypto. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, the only thing you do play here.
What's that?
Oh, on coin poker you actually
play for real money
with a native cryptocurrency, CHP. So
that's cool.
I wouldn't call it real money, but you play with a native cryptocurrency that's on a blockchain.
But is it all Bitcoin then, or is it? Can you play? You deposit
you have
different methods.
Yeah, you can deposit with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you play in the CHP, and then when you draw, we draw with CHP, and CHP is also traded on exchanges like KuCoin, HitBTC.
Very interesting. And this is your website as well, or what is?
Yeah. Well, I flew into New York when I was on CNN, as you can see.
Oh, hello. That's pretty cool.
Attacking Amazon. That was for Thanksgiving last year. So I've had a lot of fun in life. I don't know.
That's you got guys. Remember on Twitter, Instagram, we have all of Tony's stuff up. You can also check out his Hendon Mob, and then here I want to go through. Let's kind of go through some questions. All right, yeah. So in short deck of cards, people are asking: is it less bluffing or more bluffing? How do you feel the game is short deck? Do you think it's around to stay, or is this a game that has a future? PLO was known to be this is going to take over the world. Do you feel short deck is going to spiral out, or is this kind of a short? I think
if everybody played to the best strategy, I think it would be quite ugly because you would have to. You could be all in every hand basically. If you have two picture cards and you're the first one to move all in, your odds are really good as long as you're getting 10-20% folding chance for someone when you bet. You already have an edge. So imagine, and people are folding more than 20% of the time you want them to fold. Right, they're going to fold at least 50%, and some people folding 80%. I mean, they let me win this event because it just folded. I mean, it was just crazy.
Just brute aggression.
It was just crazy. Then people like don't know the odds that in this game you're never under 30%, and you're always like 45%.
Yeah, I think aces to ace king is like 25% chance.
Yeah,
it's almost like the worst case. It's like, so it's kind of crazy. But you think it'll stick around? Do you think short deck's got a future? Or
well, we have it on coin poker too. It's hard to say. You never know how it's going to go. It's a lot of fun. It's a different game. I think it gives the amateur players better chance as long as they get some knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you play super aggressive, you have a very good chance. I don't think you can play this game tight.
Right.
So if you play tight, I don't think you can win.
You can't win if you're too tired. Does poker in your life represent entertainment as a profession or an obligation? Do you feel like when you show up some of these events, because you're supporting, you guys are, the mate Rob, you got Leon, guys that are for your friends, you're playing £1 million tournaments and going around. Is it fun? Is it all fun for you, or is it kind of like sometimes like I kind of have to go? Like, do you love it still?
It's a bit of both, Yeah, sometimes I don't love it, and sometimes there's like an obligation to help the industry. You're responsible, and sometimes it's fun. So it's a bit of both. And when you play cash games and get a bit of cash out, that's a lot of fun as well, right? And you need the cash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like golf.
Good shot, great shot. Bring you back to another one. If you went back in time and had the possibility to choose again what to do with your life, would you choose to be a professional poker player again? I mean, was that fair to say at one point you were a professionally, purely poker player?
Yeah, one time I was sponsored by Party Poker, and quite a big contract. And I guess I was professional in the industry, right? Being behind Poker News and playing poker for Party Poker, doing lots of affiliate deals. So I guess it was professional, right? You can't say you're not professional.
Yeah, you're getting paid to play and represent. And the Premier Leagues, you've had some good success. I think I saw you had a second in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I had a second as well, didn't quite win. It's fun. Those. What do you think about those? That format of poker seems like a blast.
I kind of came up with that idea. I remember telling that to Eddie Hearn, that's what poker needs, like a league.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a few attempts to try to make a league, and now Triton's trying to do something, but I think if there's a league or there's like a fun cash game that's on TV with some people that are fun, I think you have to select and let the right people play, so it's fun TV. You make a concept like wrestling or whatever. I think there's room for it still. So maybe I'll do something like that. I really love it. I would love to have a poker game that's fun for people, a poker entertainment show that's fun. I would love to build that because I love it myself. I would play on it.
I think that's a great point because sometimes in poker there's missing a storyline. Like what's cool about Premier League is it's short, it's fun, it's a competition. Like a lot of times there's just in a cash game even there's no real someone's gonna get hurt. There's gonna be some big pots, but it's not really there's no story, there's no finish. That's what tournaments people love. But sometimes it's too long maybe. 5 days or so, like a short and sweet kind of battling with points and statistics. It's cool. Yeah,
points, statistics, people love to follow nowadays, and I think you need to have have one competition that has 5 tournaments or 10 tournaments that are super fast. Then you have more decisions that do matter.
Right.
Which is exciting for the show, exciting for points, and also better for the players. I think even the better players will have should enjoy that.
Right.
Bigger swings, and then you could lose hands, but at least there's some decisions that they really have to
get to showcase their skills in certain spots and dynamically get to show that their ability kind of and show like a tournament format. I feel like the Premier League is exactly that. It gives you a chance to really show your stuff. So that's interesting that you started that. I love that.
Yeah, I don't want the poker going to this super deep stuff. I think it should go much faster.
Right.
And just give everyone a better chance and more fun, to have fun. Think about the social people, the social part of it, and the amateurs. That's the key in poker. If it's going to be fun.
Right. What does it feel like to win a tournament as important as the Triton? So it's a 25K. It's prestigious to you. Is that something you love? Like to get a trophy, to have that winning feeling? It's few and far between, right? Cash games, tournaments are hard to win. How does that feel actually to get that title? Does it feel powerful? Like is that going to be like? Is that a moment in your career winning the tournament?
Look, it's a moment in my career. It's very important. Triton. Everyone wants to be a Triton champion. It takes you in a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese people and people in Asia know me quite well now, and will know much better once the show comes out. I also did the Triton Cash game, which I did great in. So I think that's very important that I can be a personality there. From a brand point of view, you never know where you can do deals in the future. And I love to do deals, and and play.
They say winning solves everything, right? Winning is good.
Exactly. Winning solves all the problems.
Yes, it does. What brand of bike do you have? Are you where we need to talk about the bike saying because that's your staple. But are you a biker? Do you go out and bike sometimes?
Look,
really?
I'm not a big biker. I have a Peloton at home.
Okay.
So I try to jump on when I can. Connecting to the US because I'm still not really in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a US one shipped in. But I'm not a big biker, honestly. It's a saying.
Yeah, where did this saying come from? You love to say that.
Yeah.
That's what people know you as. It's one of the best coined poker terms. So where did that come up with? Did it just randomly happen one day, or what's the deal with that?
Look, it's a saying in Australia that like an old man would tell his son, "On your bike, son," or whatever, on your bike.
Get going, like time.
Get going, time to go. Yeah, time to go on your bike. So that's.
I was at the break desk in London, and you were sitting behind me, and I think it was the 100K main event. And then when Alex Foxen came over, you said we're gonna need a bigger bike because he's a big guy. I love that. Like you really like you got that whole thing going, man. I love it. What's the most memorable location that you have played poker in?
When it was legal in Russia, I had a lot of fun playing in Moscow and super huge stakes as well. That was memorable for sure. So I really did enjoy playing in Moscow all the way
games.
back. Yeah, in a casino, private. I guess. Well, the games exclude certain people.
Exclusive private.
But when they get so big, they're private anyway. No one could just come to Russia with millions and play. Right, you just couldn't do it. So it's private anyway. But I think that's the most memorable. I had a great time when I was playing poker in Russia. I had a really great time, and I won a few tournaments. I think I won in St. Petersburg once, back-to-back tournaments.
Nice. Well, that'll become a favorite quickly. That's good. Who is the funniest player you've ever played with? Who's the most fun player to play poker with at a table?
For me, Phil Hellmuth is fun to play with because he takes everything so personally. And I think he takes it all. It's like real to him. It's his real life. Mike Matusow is fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's up and down. But he can be a lot of fun. But I think all the old guys are quite a bit of fun. I think even playing with Doyle is interesting and fun to play with. And when you win your first big pot against Doyle, it's something that
you kind of
feel,
have to have that on your
this is not hard. You just try to bluff me. I made a tough call for everything. I remember that was in the Intercontinental Championships in the US where I finished second in that whole thing, which was a big event, like all the best players in the world, allegedly.
When was that?
That was in the US, where we can sit on the hand.
We'll check that. We're gonna take that look in a second here. Do you have new goals in poker? Like, does that obviously doesn't change your life at all. A 25K, you're playing £1 million tournaments, but does it kind of motivate you? Do you when you win a tournament, does that make you say, hey, what's the schedule next? I want to go around. Like, how does that change your appetite at all?
Well, I guess my goal was like yesterday. I said, look, I'm now going to start studying the game and know all the spots better, and then how to react. So yeah, I'm thinking about studying the game because I think that there's no chance for me in no limit hold'em. I think I could be very strong in Omaha. I cashed in a World Series this year in a limit hold'em. I could definitely play, I think, against anyone. I could play PLO tournaments, play short deck for sure because it's just, I guess...
You're the best short deck player in the world currently.
Yeah,
you're
currently.
You're a 25K high roller Triton champion, so that's nice. Nice. So that's.
But I need to work on my no limit game. There's so many variations there that I think I'm definitely have never worked on it. Just apart from playing.
It's probably a lot of that's just time, right? Like you could sit down. You're doing business stuff and all that. So it's kind of like, do I want to spend 40 or 100 hours and doing these, trying to tweak my game, or just kind of do what I do and have fun and be because you know how to win. You know what it takes. It's just you haven't done all the solver work and this and that. So. But
I have to do it if I don't play. I can't afford to play these million events.
That's true too. These are gonna now a Triton here that looks like they're gonna be coming maybe often.
There's so many now. There's a 250-pound event. Now that Kerry Katz is putting on in London, and I think there's just going to be lots of events all the time. So
it's also someone like you who is known in the poker community, but would probably not be per se by the pro. Like it could be a huge advantage to you too if you come in there and you have that because you already know what it takes. You have the live ability. If you can kind of sneak in a little bit of extra study, it'd probably go a long way. Because you're not going to get the credit that you would. You could.
So I'm thinking, which sites do people recommend to join and like to study, or should I? Should I just
training.
Get a coach? Yeah.
I know. I got some good stuff for you. We can talk about after the podcast. So I think you'd really like. What is What is the future of European Parliament? That seems like a heavy question. Give me a little look into Parliament's for U.S.
Yeah.
It's a term I don't understand because it sounds very official. I know it is,
Yeah.
but you said 750 people are in Lithuania's Parliament.
No, this is
in the whole European
Parliament.
So how many are within Lithuania?
There's 11 from Lithuania.
Oh wow!
So each country elects, and then everyone's in Brussels representing Europeans. So 11 people get elected from Lithuania. They're different depending on how big the country is.
What do you feel the future? Politics is complicated. How do you feel in just like a quick? Do you feel like it's going the right direction? Is it kind of?
Look, it's never going the right direction. Europe is always going sideways, and I think that satisfies Europe going sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Currency is quite weak, which is good for exporters. Stagnant growth. We're on the brink of recession the last 10 years. So. Now the world seems to be on the brink of recession again. If the US goes into recession, we could have tough times. We have these. Basically in Europe, we have negative interest rates. You take a home loan and the bank pays you.
Right.
It's like unbelievable what we've come to. We've gone to where Japan was 20 years ago. We just kind of coming to the same thing. We're having deflation. We're having very stagnant growth. Technology is making efficiencies. So there's lots of issues, but Europe spends 40% of its budget, or the subsidies, on food and farming subsidies. So that's what we focused on. It's technologically behind, but it doesn't matter. Since Europeans had so much money, it's all invested in global stocks. I think Europe's going to be wealthy. It's a wealthy country. It's a wealthy part of the world that has a budget surplus. If you put everything together, so it's fine.
I saw someone else ask about, and again, I don't want to get, this is sort of like talking, someone said about Brexit, like how did, that's a kind of a, this is not what I want to talk to you about,
Sure.
but I'm just curious, what in your mind, was that just a disaster? Was that like unavoidable? Was that, what happened? Like do you have because that must be a parliament, that's a big deal. You guys must talk about it and discuss it.
No, that's a big deal. I think it had to happen. I think it just points to the same thing, that people in the outer regions of each country are not happy. They're looking for changes, but I think it's not possible to help. So all the money's coming to the cities. Cities are getting richer and richer, and the country towns are getting poorer and poorer. So all the vote from the country towns was overwhelmingly for exit, because people want change. They don't see any hope. But it's a trend of the whole world, where the country region is basically getting poorer and poorer, and since the way the system is, it's people feel. They're not listened to, so it's a protest vote that they came, they made a decision, and I hope that the Brexit does happen now and it's delivered. I think it's important, and we'll see how the United Kingdom will prosper in a new environment, like trading with India, China, Australia, the Commonwealth countries that they're very close to. We'll see what happens. But
interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it, and realize that makes sense. That's very well articulated, and that makes me feel like I understand better how that happened. I thought it did happen. I thought it was a done deal. It's not officially done.
No, it's not done, because it's Parliament and Boris Johnson, the new Prime Minister. Actually, I like him. I think he's flamboyant and fun, and we need people like that in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he delivers it. I think he needs to deliver. The Conservative Party in the United Kingdom could be in trouble if they don't deliver the Brexit, because people had a referendum, and then the Parliament doesn't approve it, and you don't have it, or you have another one and say, look, we made a mistake, we'll have another referendum.
Right.
So it's all political stuff, because of the Labour Party. There's basically two parties, but the Liberal Democrats are making ground, and these are all pro-EU. I think there's less and less pro-EU in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are becoming nationalistic, and this is the way it is, and I think they're feeling they're left out of the economic boom, and just very few people making all the money, and the rest suffer quite badly. Europe has a very big social policy, so everyone's supported. Everyone gets a nice paycheck, whatever they do, so people can survive, basically. Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting stuff. That makes me understand a little better that whole concept. Someone asking how much of your TV persona is real. Is there any embellishment? Helmuth. I think Helmuth almost like overdoes, like plays the poker brat role to a villain. Is this totally, or are you kind of having a little extra fun in there? What's going on?
I'm having extra fun, but it's just me. I'm just having fun. I'm having a drink on these things. I'm not taking it that serious. I'm just having fun. Maybe I'm not looking to play the best poker, but being that way probably intimidates other people.
Right.
And they make mistakes.
Right.
And they fold when they shouldn't fold, or they call when they shouldn't call. and I guess it puts people out of balance,
out of their comfort zone.
Out of their comfort zone. But it's fun. I just love it.
I like it. Tell us about the most emotional hand of poker. Do you remember? Is there one that either most people remember the bad beat better than a good hand? But do you remember a hand that was like actually touched you, like where you were like in a cash game, some huge pot, you got unlucky or something? Tell us.
I actually did put it on Facebook years and years ago, but this was like in 2006, probably in Moscow. I had a $5 million pot that I won with aces.
$5 million worth.
Yeah, $5 million worth. Yeah, wow. With aces that I won. Yeah, we had to make a flush. Yes, we were all in, like 4 people all in, and I had the nut flush draw. And aces on the flop, and I got there. So that was important, because that would have put me back if I didn't win that pot. I tell you.
Wow, that's all. In Russia, you got to win, and then you got to get out of there.
And you got to collect. Yeah, and for God, I've always been able to collect in Russia. People have always respected me and always paid. So I really. I'm
not to say
grateful.
Russia. I'm just saying, it's like a foreign country, private games, big money. You got, you got to have balls to go in there and play, because you got to win. You got to win.
But Russian gamblers seem to be quite honest.
And, I've heard that as well. They seem. It seems like I actually haven't heard any really bad stories there or anything. But just it's kind of like got that cold. Like that country's very tough. It's like scares people, especially in the U.S. They're like just feel like it's tough.
It is tough. It's scary.
Yes,
but it's also fun. People are very good there as well.
What was the triumph you enjoyed the most? What in your poker career have you enjoyed the most doing?
Being the first Asian champion. I think it was around like 2007 or something. I was the first ever Asian champion in Singapore, and I was already business started doing well, and I was able to give a lot of that money to charity. Although it's not like I'm going to gloat on that, but it was still like back then or whenever it was. We can check. But in the early 2000s, it was fun, and it was winning that event with like close to 500 players was big.
No.
Was big.
Yeah.
That and being the first Asian champion. There had never been any tournaments in Asia before that. It was the first really big one. That was done by Betfair. That was fun. I really enjoyed it, and it was a good.
Singapore, huh? I've never been over there. I've heard it's great.
It's great, and I think there's never been that. There was only one tournament there.
That's one of the. I think that's that country in Tokyo or in Japan. I hear like there's no trash. Like they say, like if there's like a piece of trash on that, you can't find one. You can go on like a scavenger hunt to find a piece of trash, and it just doesn't exist, which is pretty cool.
Very true.
We answered which poker player is the most fun to play with. In terms of, we were just kind of talking about the strategy. So you haven't done what type of work have you done with poker? Have you literally have you looked at some charts, some push folds? Like what's your?
I haven't looked at any charts, to be honest. It's just all natural. But I used to play a lot of sit and goes on Party Poker, and I was winning online as well. And I made the final table once of PokerStars main event too, years back, on the Rap Duck. My nick. So I don't know. I guess I was good enough to play these sit and goes, and that gave me confidence when I played thousands of them and had 8% return. It was okay. Well, this was early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I haven't done any charts. I haven't done any, and I guess I need to do that now. And I guess I'm at the stage now where I do have to work, and put a serious effort in. Whatever. Put 2 hours a day in for a few months. And then I could get some better results and come back.
Yeah, you're playing the biggest tournaments in the world, and you might as well, right?
You might as well. Everyone else,
yeah. Into it.
Especially, I believe statistics and mathematics. So I'm a believer, and I'm a blackjack player too. So I understand how gambling works and sports betting and things like that.
Yeah, you get the odds. Yeah. How do you manage balance between poker life and political life, and actually throwing family life there too? With doing all this and being busy, how many children? You have
I have 2 children with my wife. Yeah.
Right.
With my current wife. Yeah.
So so how do you balance with that? You're a busy man.
I balance because I don't have a 9-to-5 job, so I'm okay. With politics, it did take a lot out because of the travel, but now it's perfect. Now I'm free, so I don't play poker that much. Most of the time I'm with the family at home and just enjoying life. So I'm not really busy, and I'm not really like a guy that's trying to be busy all day, every day, trying to do the next deal. I'm in a stage where I'm trying not to do any deals. I have enough what I've done, and I'm keeping that going. But still, when you have all that thing going, it's hard to stop, and there's always things happening.
Yeah. Okay. And who is the best poker player you've been around? Who do you feel like when you see someone at the table? Is there a couple players you just like, wow, they just seem never to make a mistake? I mean, there's a lot of great tournament players now. Is there anyone in particular, even just maybe from the older school guys? Have you been around since 2000, 2004? Who do you feel is just so solid and like a great player?
Yeah, I felt Ivy was a great player before. And now since he's been away a bit, I don't know. He doesn't. I don't know how he's playing nowadays, but I felt intimidated playing with him. Like one of the few players that I felt had enormous confidence in cash games and tournaments, and he just felt he was going to win, and he just felt it all the time, and he just seemed to play that way. He seemed to play, I guess, the version of the modern game a bit earlier than everyone else. He worked it out, and he played it the right way. So he's definitely a guy that I would definitely respect.
You were battling with him in the short deck here, right? I saw some other tournaments. I saw a picture.
I think I busted him out.
Yeah, there you go. It's nice to bicycle Ivy here and there. So, someone's asking about the return of Premier League poker, which you mentioned. You kind of put that idea potentially in the head, or one of the originators of that. So, would you participate if there was another one? Because I did talk to Party Poker about trying to bring it back. Season 7 was the last one, and you weren't there because I played in that one. So season 8, is that a possibility? Do you think it would be cool to do?
Oh, we should do it for sure. We should do season 8 as soon as possible. Make it fun. Make it for people at home, so everyone can understand it. Make it super simple, super quick. Make the points, and that could be a lot of fun. Get some nice characters in there, and poker on TV could come back all around the world.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be. That's one of the best forums. Talk to me about Warren Lush for a second. We just saw Warren around. How big has Warren Lush been here? How long have you known Warren?
It seems that I've known him since we were kids, but now I guess 15 years or so. And look, he helps me out.
He holds it together.
He's my family, you know.
Yeah.
I love Warren, and he's a very important part of my life.
I love Warren too.
He's the godfather of one of my children. He's always with me. He's very honest, very humble person. That just loves poker.
Yeah.
He's been in poker forever. He's doing all the media, so. I'm glad that he's around and doing things.
Yes, he's the guy. I gotta love Warren. Let's see. So would you consider yourself a professional poker player now, or not? I mean, it's sort of like semi-pro. You just kind of you play for fun.
I'm definitely not a professional player. I don't want to be classed as a professional player for many reasons, but I was always adamant that I'm not a professional poker player. And that is that my predominant source of income was never from poker, except from the very early part of my life, I guess, in poker, right? In the early 2000s, yes. But since then, no. So I'm not a professional. You'll be a professional if that's what you do, and that's your whatever, at least over 50% of your income. And I wouldn't say that's the case now. So I'm not. I'm a recreational player. And I would recommend for everybody to aim to be a recreation player and do other stuff outside of poker as well. So life can be more full, so that you can have more meaning. Because just playing these higher stakes all the time won't make you happy eventually.
Yeah, I like to say that too. It's really important to have balance, especially the message you don't want to send to people is go quit your job, be a professional poker player. I like to say have it on the side. If it's supplemental income, you can work at it, become better at it, but don't make this your everything. I think that's a very important distinction. Short deck or no limit hold'em, you can only play one from now on. Which one do you choose?
If I could get, I would probably have a better chance in short deck, obviously, because the mathematics is just so much less of maths there that I can work that out myself very quick without anything. Right. So you can work that game out much faster, obviously, with 32 cards. And but it's a short deck. If you're all in every time when you have 2 picture cards, you could win the tournament.
Right, you have a chance to win.
Yeah, it's quite scary, right?
That is scary.
Especially when you get a big stack and people have to fold. And
you can put some ICM pressure once a pay jumps and you're all in. No one wants to put it in.
Yeah.
What percentage of winning in tournaments is luck? Yeah, it's always interesting to hear what people feel.
Yeah.
Skill, luck, 80-20, 90-10. Like, where do you feel the skill and luck in say no limit hold'em falls?
You can see there's so much luck involved, but because like the main event, right? If all the best players, they would all be there all the time, right, in the final table, because they have so much time and so much depth to play. But we don't see that, and we see all new people. So the disparity, the difference is so small. The edge is so small that the bigger the fields get, that it's minor. But obviously in these high roller events, which super deep, these players do have more of an edge. But I don't know how big the edge is. We're still too early to tell, and we have to I don't know, analyze someone like Fedor Holtz or something. So I guess the standard deviation is still very high in poker. So people might be really the best, but they might have no cashes in 20 tournaments.
Right.
And that could just be the mean. I mean, this could be just normal, you know. So it's like you have to. It's hard to work it out. I can't work it out. In the cash game, you could work it out because you have to stop playing, right? But in tournaments,
Right.
You could say all these situations that I've been in, they were all unfortunate, and it's easy. And I only need one of them out of 5 or 6, and that's very easy to like bust in 20 events.
Right. That's true too. Yes. Do you have a goal? So now, you're saying you might start studying more. Do you have a goal? Is there like you looking now, like you kind of have your everything in order.
Yeah.
You could play. Like, do you ever look at a year and say, you know what, I'm going to play this amount of tournaments. I have a goal. Do you have a GPI goal? Any sort of poker ranking thing?
No goals. No goals. I'm just living. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do in life? I want to live the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to live. I don't want to do anything. I don't have to do anything extra. I just want to live, and if I'm free, I'm going to come and play. If I have the spare money to throw like the £1 million, and then I'll do it. You know, if I don't, I won't do it. I've set out plenty of these big high stakes events. But if it feels a good time for me, I'll play, and if I'm enjoying it, I'll play. If I don't like it, I'll quit altogether. Right. I do it for fun. I don't want to be trapped in a contract where I have to play.
Right.
Without wanting to play.
Right. Exactly. That makes for sure. What do you think the most important thing is to be successful in poker, based on your experience over the years and witnessing people kind of rise and fall?
Yeah. So game selection and bankroll management and good life management. This is the most important. Right. So I didn't even say anything about poker skills.
Right.
So if you can get into the right games, that's and if you have the bankroll and you know how to manage it, and you know how to manage your life, so you don't tilt from poker, then you're there nearly.
Right.
Then the rest is your gift and your ability to play. If you have some of that, that's a big bonus.
Right. You could show me. You could be the 10th best player in the world. You're playing the other best 9, and you can't. Whatever. You could be the 10 millionth best, and you're playing the 100 million plus on, and you're going to be
probably
crush it.
Probably the 10th player could be broke, you know,
exactly.
And the 9th could be broke.
Yeah, that's the truth of it. What do you think of online poker right now? The state of online poker. Yeah, we've seen the crazy 2003, 4 those years. You know, everything was wild west. Now things of legislation in the U.S. Things are coming back a little bit, but it's slow. It's kind of always one and one. Where do you see the future? And do you see could online poker die? But fully, like backgammon got solved completely, kind of killed the game. What do you think on online poker's state moving forward? I
think online poker's in trouble. It's declining because of solvers and software. Robots can now play. I was just speaking to Isai the other day about it, and basically robots can play now and act like humans. And find the games, do the games. So, I mean, they just with AI, they're just becoming like humans. And
right.
You can just breed them, and they just like get an idea and play. And
when you play online, do you use a HUD like a poker tracker?
I've never used anything.
So do you think do you feel?
So you want to play with me on Coin Poker? That's where I lose the most money, right?
You can. There's no HUDs or anything available.
And
what do you think about Party doing that as well? They banned HUDs. They changed alias names, made everything fresh.
Fine, but I think with this AI, artificial intelligence, I think it's just too clever. And if there's teams on there from Russia that are killing these games, so this is the biggest challenge. So I think maybe some rule changes have to happen, things like that have to happen. But I think live poker will be fun, and poker obviously for micro stakes online will be cool. But I think. And obviously private games online, which are managed by some host, you know, that can be okay as well. And I've seen that. That's pretty cool. But I don't think that can be massive scale like it used to be. I think now that the future, obviously in these other games, e-gaming and so on, this is what's the future. You know, poker unfortunately online is a thing of the past unless there's some evolution in it.
Right, makes sense. Do you have a lot of routines? Like, do you kind of just every day is different? Do you have a gym, like yoga? Give me like you're giving me a day in Tony G's life at home.
No, it's just different all the time because of the travel and everything. I can't have a routine, but like walking, I have 2 big dogs, nice dogs. So I'll go to the forest, go pick mushrooms with the kids when I'm free. So we have different seasons, right? In the autumn we go. We'll look for mushrooms. The end of summer now, and other parts you do other stuff. So, but I travel so much.
So you're not like you're just not you don't every day. It's not work out this time, do this. Like you're all over the place.
Obviously, I don't work out at all. So
no, I don't believe that. Tony G, look, he's definitely. I don't believe that. He's in good shape over here. You didn't get brought up in England. Someone's asking about that.
No. I've spent a lot of time in England, and I was resident and living in London. But no.
Okay. Someone's asking about impacting your career routines. Man, a lot of questions, Tony G. This was like the last. We put this up like 7 hours ago. So people want to know, man. I don't. I'm glad. How is a political power? Actually, that's a really interesting question to me. How would you say politics and using poker kind of what skills or have you used that correlate to both? Because this is poker, I think, really translates off the table a lot. But in politics, like, do you feel like reading people, these type of things are important?
They're so different. The politics, being a poker player, helped me, and I got selected by the Politico magazine, which is the most influential.
I saw that. Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, it's the most influential politician in Europe, or top 28, the most influential from Lithuania, which is quite funny. But I was, because I actually did a lot of conferences. I did a lot of things outside of Parliament. I actually did really work hard for change and put a lot of my money into politics.
I saw something that with the basketball team, didn't you put up a bunch of it was 500,000 euros or something to get the team? They didn't qualify or something. What was that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, so there was the Lithuania in 2010 didn't qualify for the World Championships in Turkey, and we bought a wild card for 500,000. FIBA being a very nice organization, does sell entries. So I managed to purchase, and then I launched TonyBet just because they had to buy a sports betting company, so we put the TonyBet logo on it, and I was appointed the general manager of the team, and I did 3 years with the team actually. So 2010, 2011, 2012 we had the European Championships, and 2011, and we had in 2012 we had the Olympic Games in London, which I was living in the Olympic Village. I was in the opening ceremony.
Yeah, I was there I remember that. I went to that. Yeah. Actually, I went with Helmuth. To there, and that was a big deal. So you walked out. You were with the team at the opening ceremony. Yeah, it's pretty cool. With
the team, and that was cool. Look, it's something I'd done, something that's in the past, something I enjoyed, and I've moved on. But I think it was very, very nice. I did this one in Australia.
Which one, right?
Yeah, of Lithuanian descent and grew up in Australia. I think Australia shaped me. I mean, Lithuania hasn't shaped me at all, because just like my language is. English is much better, although I'm fluent in Lithuanian. But
how many languages do you speak?
Well, Russian, poor German. So not really that many, but enough to get by in Europe, I guess,
right.
And Australia, and the US, right? So I'm okay. So Lithuanian is a very old language. The culture is completely different than Australia. Everything's so different, but the summers in Lithuania are so nice. So like spending 6-7 months in Australia. 4-5 months in Lithuania every year is a good way to go for people if they can afford it. But when you have kids, then it gets harder and harder. They got school, they got structure.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if we need too much structure in life. I think the less structure, the better. I'm not a big believer in that much of it, but Australia is where my big heart is, of course, because that's where I got so much benefit when I managed to escape from the Soviet Union. I got out in 1984, so that was Lithuania was still occupied.
You were born in 83?
73.
73,
yeah, 73. So and Lithuania was occupied by the Soviet Union, and I got out, and it was free and had a big advantage because there was a huge issue for people. They couldn't travel, they didn't have access to information, they had no freedoms, and this was the Soviet Union. They occupied Lithuania. So we have to remember that Australia gave me a huge boost in life, and I had a big advantage getting out.
That's running good, right? Those are like the life you talk about, flips and coin and winning tournaments are running bad, but like these are massive swings and crazy things you can't really put into perspective. These type of breaks.
If I got stuck in Lithuania, I would be a totally different person. I'm very grateful for Australia for letting people in, getting these migrants that need to really escape from political persecution, which we were, obviously, our family.
When you say escaped, it wasn't you were granted. You literally, your family, you guys.
My mother got out, and then they wouldn't let me out, so I had 5 years alone, actually, with other family members. But Mum left for a holiday, and she stayed because her brother was there. A lot of the family left.
Wow, so it was
before
really
escape.
like life or death. Like it was like you got to go
Yeah.
there and you just like, and then you got, what'd you fly? You flew over them?
I flew by myself. The Red Cross got me out. Once the Red Cross got involved, and the Soviets let me out. But
Wow.
I had to fly myself. Yeah, 11 years old.
That's crazy. That's very intense. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those were the times, and then now we see a little bit of trouble in the world, and people think it's it's the end of the world. Before it was just the norm, and now I'm still a young person, right? To see all the Soviet
That's
totalitarian regimes.
super intense. Question kind of here. We just asked about basically your perspectives gained at the poker tables and political views, but obviously you can apply skills to all, different sets of different parts of your life. I'm sure you use poker wise, but
on political views,
political ventures.
I'm. It's hard. I guess I didn't like Trump that much. If we can talk about it, everyone wants to know. But now I'm finding it's quite cool. He's quite cool and fine. You just can't get upset when people get too upset and too emotional about one politician. They suffer themselves. They suffer. They get worked up. Communities are divided. Well, look, Trump's probably going to win one more term, and then he'll be gone. He's not going to change America that much. It's still, and I think that the politicians cannot change the people. And you can elect whoever you want, but you're not going to change the people. They're going to be the way they are.
Right.
So I think we overvalue politicians too much, and I think we can all do things outside of politics to have our own truth. But hating one person like Trump or loving someone else like Hillary Clinton, there were such a bad choices like for America in the whole world, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Those are like in our country, USA. Those are
that's the only two you can choose from.
Sort of wild, but politics are complicated.
very complicated. Very complicated.
We'll move on. Will you ever retire? Do you just kind of love? Like you just look at one smorgasbord of life. Do you say to yourself, "I'm just done with everything," or do you kind of always love business, sort of being involved in the action?
I think you never retire. I think it's you just live. And I answer it again. What are you going to do after whatever politics, after poker? I'm just going to live one more day. Just take one day at a time. So I just plan to live. So if I retire, that means I'm dying. So hopefully not.
Okay. This is all right. We're actually we're getting through here. Do we have a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. There's Warren in the background, Warren. We're just singing your praises. Give a little love out here. Warren Lush, there he is in the flesh. Tony got a lot of questions, man. This is a short thing, and we're humming here.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Look at this. This is a lot.
That's a lot.
A lot of Tony love out here. Why basketball and not soccer? Do you like soccer? Are you purely basketball, or do you support soccer as well? What's your next favorite sport?
I'm purely basketball. And next favorite sport is cricket.
Cricket, okay.
I love cricket.
There you go, cricket and basketball.
What's the score, Warren, in the Ashes?
Is that England are 3 wickets down?
Wow.
Wickets, I don't even know what that means.
How many runs?
Yeah, hang on.
There it is. What's your favorite sport? Basketball's answered.
Cricket's in the next one. So
and where did the soccer even come on there? Is Lithuania any good at soccer? I don't think I've really heard much.
Lithuania's terrible at soccer, but really good at basketball. So small country that focused.
They might need you, Tony. Maybe you need to step up and sponsor the soccer team.
Yeah, no. I'm not getting into soccer. Not in this lifetime.
Okay. Political views, left or right, for those that don't know.
I'm right. I'm on the right side of politics. I've always been, but I'm quite liberal. So. But I'm just trying to tell people, don't isolate and don't hate any politicians. They're all going to be gone sooner or later. So do something and ask yourself, what have you done to make your country better? Instead of hating politicians. So.
Right. That's a great point. Favorite variant? Do you play mixed games? What are some other games you like?
Yeah, I played Omaha High-Low I played a lot of. I've really done a lot of different games. I play all the games.
You're a man of many traits. Okay.
I just enjoy it. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm good, but I do play all the games.
So Omaha High-Low might be your favorite, or one of them?
Yeah, one of them. There was a time I used to love to play Omaha High-Low and Deuce to 7 triple draw with limit. I played a lot of that in Australia.
That Deuce to 7's fun too, because that's a lot of bluffing. It's like one of those you can kind of just go for it. You
just got to keep betting. If you just keep betting, you can win that.
Yeah.
It's like in Deuce to 7.
Yes.
You just got to have the last bet, and you probably have an edge a lot of the time, as long as you're the one making the betting.
Yeah.
It's
question on here about Razvedov. What do you think about Razvedov? I guess King's Casino. How many times have you been here? A bunch?
I've been a bunch of. But yeah, I really do. I recommend everyone come here. It's fantastic. Spa is beautiful. You get a nice massage, nice hotel. great poker, great action. You know, a lot of loose action here, especially.
It is the largest poker room in Europe, I believe.
It's the largest poker room.
It's massive.
So many great tournaments. Like we'll have this 10K now. This should be a massive overlay.
Yeah, it looks like I'm getting back in there today. PP or PS? Party Poker or Poker Stars? Which is doing more for poker?
Well, Party Poker was guaranteeing all these tournaments, like live tournaments, that are all missing their guarantees. You know, they want Bahamas, it's Vegas, now here. So Party Poker's putting a lot of money into poker. So it's probably even trying to save poker in that sense. But Poker Stars is a pure, I guess, more commercial. It's I don't know. So there's two different Poker Stars. When Isai was running it, Scheinberg, it was different, right? It was one person who really cares about poker, who loves it, who did a great job, sponsored so many players, so many pros that changed their lives. So he was a different person running it, and now it's a big public organization that's heavily in debt as well. So they look at it differently. It's a pure business, it's pure financing, and poker is just one part of the chain for them. It's not, it's
right.
not about how much could they borrow to buy something. That's what they care about instead of poker players.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I like it. How do your colleagues feel about your passion for poker? Do you get resistance even from your family or your wife? Does she ever say, "Hey, you're doing too much of this"? Or are they pretty supportive and know that do your colleagues even? I guess you said in politics it didn't hurt you really. If anything, it was almost like it helped it.
No, it helped us. It's what I am. I'm regarded by the community as a good poker player, successful poker player. So there's no questions about it that it's bad, that it's gambling. Mm-hmm. Some opponents do want to say that it's gambling and I'll lose the whole country if I'm in government.
Yeah. Okay.
At least I'll play for it, right?
Right. Yeah. But you could win. Yeah. What else motivates you in poker? Is it the competition? Like what do you think is so exciting to you about poker? What aspect?
Yeah, it's this competition. It's the stimulation you get from playing, from getting situations, getting out of situations. It's the stimulation, So I'm blessed that I've had a fun life, and poker's been a major part, maybe the most important part of my life. So I'm grateful to poker, and I'm grateful to all the wonderful people that I've met through poker, that we've done business, that we've had a lot of partying, a lot of fun, a lot of different things in life. So I can't get out of it now. I have to accept that I am in the poker industry still a poker lover, and I'll support great events like Triton, Party Poker, Poker Stars too. Mm-hmm. I'm not against anyone, so I hope that people just have fun. And poker, my biggest advice, that poker can be a small part of your life or a bigger part of your life, but don't make it all your life, and make sure you're having fun out of it instead of suffering and being trapped.
I love it. Well, on that note, guys, I think we've answered a lot of questions. Tony's taken his time. He's a busy man. I know he is hopefully going to be a repeat podcast guest. Maybe after every time you win a 25K High Roller Plus, we'll have you on the show. That would be a nice little way to do it. But any other message? I love your energy. I love how you promote the game. It's really fun to watch. Is there any other? If you were giving someone a tip out there, like you said, you kind of just did it. You said about balance and don't make it only your life. But if someone today was going to say to you, "Hey, Tony, I love poker. I want to play more. I want to kind of have it be a part of my life." Is that would be your biggest takeaway? Say to have balance. Is there any other advice you would give them to start out?
Yeah, I would just say that now it's too late to just become a pure poker pro. I think it's not worth pursuing that. Mm-hmm. That if you could do that, you could probably do other things that'll generate a better return for you financially. So if you could be that good, I don't know. But as a hobby, it's great. You should do it. And if it works out as something more, that's also good. But that's just my advice. So if people have their own dreams, right. you have to live your life how you think.
Well, I think it's also important with poker news. You found a way to make residual income. You started something, and now if you want to play poker when you're playing, if you lose a little, it's not so crazy. You got this money coming in, so you have no pressure. That's the biggest difference. You got someone at home who says, "All right, I do this job now. I'm stopping this job. I'm only playing poker." Now it's now you're putting your family at risk, maybe your whole everything. So I think it's very important to make that distinction, that you need to have some other backup, or whether some people are staked or sell action, but you just don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially when it's, as we've mentioned, luck is a good part of the game and can go on swing.
It's a huge part, yeah. The standard deviation, if you do Kelly criteria or whatever, which I know, it's just so high, so people have to understand that. You could have you could be the best player and never ever prove it to the world for whatever reasons, right? Because you just won't have. You will lose confidence too. So
it's like basketball or football too. There's probably the best player that we never saw, a cricketer somewhere in the world that is like playing, and didn't get the right opportunity, and it's like you just don't. Yeah, you might not get the right avenue or the right venue. You take a bad beat in the main event. You get to play once, and then you don't get. So all those things I agree with completely. And we do. I'm gonna round out here and just let you guys know again. Coin poker. You've seen Tony rocking this. This is a very interesting new project with blockchain and crypto. So again, I'm interested. I've seen it, and I want to. That's where they can play with you. Is that true?
They play with me, and we have open face Chinese as well, short deck and normal games, PLO games. It's and play with me. I'm on there all the time. So.
All right,
come and get me.
Coin poker. If you want a piece of Tony, he's fresh off this win. Yesterday he was popping champagne on the table. Here's his Instagram. He also has Twitter, and you can check him out on Hendon Mob. And on that note, I think we did answer almost all the questions. I appreciate it, Tony. Very nice to chat. Appreciate the time, guys. Check him out on all the socials, and we'll be back for another podcast soon. And we'll hopefully have Tony on in the future. So have a good day.
Thank you, buddy.